This video describes a new procedure in Statgraphics version 20 for creating time series heat maps. A time series heat map displays the values of a time series using color codes. Here you see the stock index of the Nifty 50 over a particular trading day. There's a single rectangle for each minute during the day. Where you see blue, the index fell. Where you see red, the index climbed. If you look at it, you'll see that between about 11:15 and noon, the stock index was quite high. But between about 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it had fallen below its opening value. But by the time the market closed, it recovered. This is a second example. We're displaying the values of the Oceanic Nino Index between 2001 and 2025. The ONI is a measure of the seawater temperature at a particular location in the Pacific. If it's negative, shown here as blue, that's a La Nina, relatively cool water. If the index is positive, shown here as red, that's an El Nino, relatively warm water. You can see throughout the last 25 years that there's been quite a bit of variation. In Statgraphics version 20, the Analysis Options dialog box lets you omit either rows or columns that contain no data. This could be useful, for example, if you're plotting stock prices where you'd like to omit Saturdays and Sundays. The Pane Options dialog box gives you several other choices. At the top, you define the colors of the heat map. I've let it range from -2 to +2 by 1. If you'd like to replace missing values in your data, you could set them equal to the previous value or ask for an interpolation, either seasonal or non-seasonal. Before plotting the data, you can also smooth it. You could use a running means, a running lines, lowest, and robust lowest to damp down some of the noise in the data. When plotting the heat map, you can elect to switch rows and columns, and you can also specify a text scaling factor, which is typically used to reduce the size of the labels to make them more readable. One other plot offered by the time series heat map procedure is a means plot. It plots the means and standard errors for either rows or columns. In this example, you see an analysis of each row, each year. There's a horizontal line, a short horizontal line, plotted at the mean of each year. The bars extend above and below the mean by 1 standard error. Notice that in 2015, there was a very significant El Nino.